Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran in chapter number 2, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 195, do not throw yourselves into destruction with your own hands. Now, how many of us really realize that we do throw ourselves into destruction with our own hands, with or without our knowledge? For example, smoking. Everyone knows that smoking is dangerous for health. Smoking is like a fashion, for example. It's like a trend, You feel like, man, it's like a brand, for example. You need to smoke, or it's like, very manly affair, or something like, beyond being a child. Whatever you say, whatever you consider, any act of destroying yourselves, okay? However premium you consider it, it is nothing but a bad act. When it comes to saying destroying yourself with your own hands, it could also be, for example, speeding. Speeding in limits which could be dangerous, or endangering yourselves with some things like sports, for example, where you're jumping without any protective gear, or you're trying to venture into some dangerous terrains, and you know that you could lose your life with that, but you just want to do because you want to either break some record, or you want to get a fame, or you want to just post a video on YouTube. People are ready to just risk their lives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala very clearly says in the Quran, do not put yourselves into destruction with your own hands. It's very simple as that. Now let me address the point of smoking. I have my own brothers, I have my own relatives who smoke. I have a good number of colleagues who smoke. I have a good number of friends who smoke. Alhamdulillah, I am not a smoker. I don't smoke for whatever reasons. Allah protected me. And I make dua that those who are also smoking get out of that habit. And Ramadan is one good opportunity that you try to stop yourself from smoking. And once you try to stop yourself, please do not start smoking once the iftar is over. Like you must have seen a good number of brothers trying to control the smoke. And the moment iftar is over, right after the Maghrib prayers, you will find them right after the masjid with the cigarettes in their hands. That's not the whole idea of not smoking during Ramadan. So you feel that it's a compensation. You couldn't do it in the morning. You're getting an opportunity to do it in the evening, right after iftar. No, that is something you have to control yourself. And you have to control yourself to that extent that you have to continue the habit of not smoking even after Ramadan. That's the whole idea of Ramadan, that you get rid of your bad habits, not only during Ramadan, but you train yourself. Ramadan is nothing but it's a training. So you train yourself in such a way that you abstain yourself from certain habits which are not good for you. Okay? Habits which could either destroy you or destroy others because of you. Alright, as I said, it could be speeding, for example. But you cannot say you can speed because if something has to happen, something will happen to you only. And that's going to happen to others. No, if your car bumps into some other car, the person driving there also could be injured or could be killed for that matter. So you cannot take responsibility of others nor yourself. So I urge my brothers and sisters to refrain from smoking, not just during the holy month of Ramadan, not just during the period of fasting, but also please put in your efforts to continue it. And I can tell you it's very easy to address a person who is outside the family like a friend or a colleague, but it's actually more difficult to address a family member. It's really difficult to talk to a family member about your do's and don'ts as compared to what you could do with an outsider or an outside person. So those are the experiences that really made me that I need to address these things which are dangerous for their health, which are dangerous for their life, and how we can get into a person in a nice way, convincing them that, this is wrong and you can get out of it, and you have to get out of it in a nice and a friendly way. To give an example, I came across a friend of mine who is a smoker as well, but then one fine day, he seems to be quite sad. And I approached him in a nice manner and told him, man, you look quite abnormal. Is everything okay at home? And he said, no, there is some issue there. And I asked him if he can tell me and if I could be of some use to that. And he told me that his dad is admitted in a hospital, and the reason for that is because he used to smoke. And I told him that I'm really sorry for that, and I hope your dad recovers fast and he's okay, and then he gets discharged and he gets out of the habit of smoking. I was shocked to hear. He said, I care a damn for my dad. I don't mind even if he dies for that matter. That really gave me like, oh my God, what are you talking about? Then he told me, I'm more worried about my mother because she's spending sleepless nights because of my dad. And she's sitting next to him and giving him serving and all that stuff just because he used to smoke in spite of telling him not to smoke. You see how it affects your family members? You try to destroy yourself with your own hands. You first of all destroy, and then you take the peace of your family members. Immediately the ones who are affected is your family members, your wife, your children, your mothers and fathers, for example, or your relatives. Yeah, your friends are also, in fact, those who love and care for you, your relatives and so on. But then the immediate family members are those whom you're going to target, and that passively damages their health also, because they don't sleep, they don't eat, they're worried about you, they run behind the doctors, they run behind the hospital, they check out your reports, they try to source money for your treatment, they're worried about the future and whatnot. It's all because of your funny, fashionable habit of smoking. So this is how the trend is. Like, you try to do something for satisfying yourself without looking into what kind of dangers it could cause to others. Now, the same friend of mine, I saw him smoking, and I approached him and told him, like, look, you're smoking now, and I know he's got a child. So I told him, tomorrow, when you get into this habit of smoking, you're admitted in the hospital because you smoke, and you're going through a tough process of treatment. I'm sure your child won't be happy looking at you in the hospital being admitted for treatment of smoking. Do you want a child to suffer the same way you suffered when you saw your mom next to your dad, and then you complained that she's worried about my dad who used to smoke instead of telling him not to smoke? Is that what you want to give now to your daughter? That's the time he realized, and he said, yes, I realized that, but let me tell you, my friend, it's really difficult to get out of this habit. I feel relaxed. I feel like, they have wonderful reasons when you ask them, why do you smoke? There are wonderful reasons. Also, there's some people who try to contradict, and some people who try to support their actions by saying that one day we have to die. So there's no guarantee that I'm going to live if I don't smoke. So why not enjoy and die before I die? So that's the kind of argument they put forward. Death is not in our hand. It can come anytime to anyone. Death is not guaranteed at all that it will come in the old age, or death will not come if you don't smoke, or death will come soon if you smoke. There are people who smoke and live a longer life. There are people who don't smoke and die an early life. So we're not talking about that, but the whole idea is that as long as you have things under your control, it's good. The message is short and simple. So if you have a habit of smoking, Ramadan is the best month for you guys to get out of smoking. Please stop smoking from today. That's my honest advice to you. And you will really succeed if you take Allah's help. Jazakallah khair for watching the video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.